And welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Dennis Adegunloye. Thanks for joining us. Let's begin with the headlines. Federal government flags off 2025 to 2026 wheat dry season farming in Borno State, targeting 80,000 farmers across 16 states. Oni of Ife and Council of Yoruba Traditional Rulers support proposed reservation seats for women. And thousands of doctors across England launch 5-day warning strike. Federal government has flagged off the 2025 to 2026 wheat dry season farming in Borno State, targeting 80,000 farmers across 16 states. The initiative is expected to inject more than 100 billion naira into the nation's economy. Musa Baba Ali reports that the dry season farming was flagged off in Nigeria's farming communities.
This is Jere, one of the agricultural communities in Borno State. It boasts vast arable land suitable for year-round farming activities. The community hosted the flag-off of the 2025-2026 wheat farming. The program falls under the National Agricultural Growth Scheme and Agro Pocket Initiative, jointly financed by the federal government of Nigeria and the African Development Bank. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, and the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, jointly flagged off the commencement of the program. 80,000 farmers who will cultivate 40,000 hectares of wheat are being supported with inputs at subsidized prices.
For the current 2025-2026 season, the program is targeting 80,000 registered farmers with an expected output value of approximately 160 billion naira.
Borno State is expected to cultivate 3,000 hectares through 6,000 farmers. The state governor stated that farmers are benefiting from the available security protection and are returning to their farms.
Here in Borno State, wood cultivation is not just a program. It is a transformative initiative through targeted investment in irrigation, mechanization, quality inputs and extension services.
The event here is not just a ceremony, but a clear indication that security and stability are gradually returning to farming communities, and Nigeria is advancing towards self-sufficiency in wheat. From Jere, local government area of Borno State, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Today is International Day for the prevention of and fight against all forms of transnational organized crime. It is a United Nations International Day observed annually on November 15th and was established to enhance international cooperation in the fight against transnational organized crime in all its forms, as well as to minimize its impact. Organized crime thrives globally, undermining governance and political processes, as well as inhibiting the rule of law. It encompasses a wide range of illicit activities, including the trafficking in drugs, firearms, cultural artifacts, protected species, and counterfeit medical products. Its most serious forms include migrant smuggling, human trafficking, money laundering, and obstruction of justice. Criminal organizations are highly adaptable, constantly adjusting or diversifying their operations to maximize profits. The International Day for the Prevention of and Fight Against All Forms of Transnational Organized Crimes commemorates all victims of organized crime, in particular those who have lost their lives in the fight against it, such as members of law enforcement and judicial personnel, and pays special tribute to all those whose dedication and sacrifice laid the foundation for the adoption of the Palermo Treaty. Now, in the aftermath of the votes saw days of violent protests met with complete internet blackouts and a brutal crackdown by security forces, resulting in hundreds of deaths, according to opposition groups and human rights organizations. In her first public remarks, Tanzanian President Samia Hassan addressed the new parliament, offering condolences to the families of victims. She announced the formation of an inquiry commission to investigate the violence, a move seen as a gesture of conciliation. While seeking to quell tension and rebuild a fractured nation, President Hassan signaled a potential for leniency, stating that she realizes many youths did not know what they were doing. She directed law enforcement to review the charges against those perceived as having been swept up in the protests and offering them a chance to erase their mistakes. The United Nations Security Council has renewed the peacekeeping mission in Abuja, a contested territory between Sudan and South Sudan, for another year. The resolution, driven by the United States, passed in a vote with 12 votes in favor and 3 in abstention, and extends the mandate of the United Nations Interim Security Force for Abyei UNISFA until November 15, 2026. Comfort Fashion has details.
Those in favor of draft resolution contained in document S/2025/745, please raise their hand.
The resolution, led by the U.S., has about 4,000 military and police personnel protecting against civilians in the oil-rich border zone. They emphasizes the Council's intent to base further extensions on demonstrable progress by Sudan and South Sudan, especially towards a joint police force and demilitarization as agreed in 2011.
The result of the voting is as follows: 12 votes in favor, 0 votes against, 3 abstentions.
The UN often condemns the presence of South Sudanese forces and Sudanese paramilitary groups in Abyei. They asked the Secretary General to report by late August 2026 on the country's progress and the security implications of reducing the mission in the territory whose status remain unresolved. U.S. Representatives Dorothy Shea welcomed the measurable goals, but the text faced reservations from some countries.
These benchmarks will help describe the mission's impact and provide a critical tool to hold host governments accountable for measurable progress.
The African members of the Council, which include Sierra Leone, Algeria and Somalia, as well as Guyana, voted in favor to preserve the mission, which may jeopardize future renewals. Comfort, Fashion, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the United Nations Security Council has called for an end to the cross-border and maritime attacks by Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels, and urged member states to beef up efforts to implement an arms embargo against them. In a resolution against the group, the Council condemned the attacks and demanded an end to all such actions, including those against infrastructure and civilian targets. The text was adopted in a 13-0 vote, with permanent members China and Russia abstaining. Sanctions were extended until November 14, 2026, including a freezing of assets and travel bans currently in place against about 10 people, most of them high-ranking Houthi officials and the group as a whole. The statement says the sanctions could now affect those who launched cross-border attacks from Yemeni territory using ballistic and cruise missile technology, or attacks on merchant ships in the Red Sea or the Gulf of Aden. Member states were asked to increase efforts to combat the smuggling of weapons and components via land and sea to ensure implementation of the targeted arms embargo. To other news now, thousands of doctors across England have launched a 5-day strike as they marched outside St Thomas Hospital in London, protesting pay and training conditions, which the agitation began in March 2023. Here again is Comfort Fashion with details.
What do we want? Pay restoration.
Recording the 13th of such strike over the same issue, Health Minister West Stretton criticised the walkouts by junior doctors, accusing the British Medical Association, BMA union, of choosing confrontation over care and rejecting pay demands. He cited a recent 28.9% pay increase over 3 years and focused on improving the system.
So we're out on strike for two reasons today. The first reason is because we are turning tens of thousands of doctors away from working in our NHS. So last year alone we turned away 20,000 resident doctors from training jobs in our NHS. And on top of that, we are asking for restoration of our pay back to what it once was in 2008. And I think that's really important for residents across the country to value them and keep them working in our NHS.
The BMA seeks a 26% pay rise to restore earnings and more training posts. Doctors face intense competition for limited training spots, and Stratton said he is working on reforms, noting that many applications are from overseas trained doctors. The strike happens amid widespread industrial action across the UK due to the cost of living. Groups including teachers, nurses, ambulance workers, lawyers, train workers and border staff have all worked out over the past 3.5 years. Comfort, fashion, NTA News.
The federal government says it is committed to achieving access to clean, sustainable water and ending open defecation in the country by 2030. Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utsev, stated this when the Nutrition 774 initiative, led by Senior Special Assistant to the President on Public Health and Focal Person on Nutrition in the office of the Vice President, Uju Rochas Amwuka, led other members of the initiative on an advocacy visit. According to the Minister, the Ministry has constructed over 2,000 water schemes across the country as a deliberate measure to bridge the water gap in urban and rural communities, while several water schemes were at various stages of completion. He disclosed that a task force against substandard boreholes was working round the clock to checkmate indiscriminate drilling of boreholes by some individuals who compromise quality standards. He underscored the importance of personal hygiene practices amongst citizens and announced that 158 local governments in the country have so far achieved open defecation-free status, while conscious efforts were being made to ensure that the country achieved open defecation-free status by 2030. Professor Utsev, who identified nutrition as key to child health, announced plans to create a nutrition department in the Ministry for effective promotion of nutrition, especially among children, and commended the team for their commitment towards ensuring that every Nigerian child enjoys good health. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Public Health and Focal Person on Nutrition in the Office of the Vice President, Uju Rochas Amwuka, explained that the visit was to advocate for the creation of nutrition departments in the Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, increased budgetary allocation for nutrition, and solicit support to states and local governments to enable them to achieve open defecation-free status. The Nutrition 774 initiative is a national framework endorsed in February this year by the National Economic Council as a flagship program of the National Council on Nutrition. The Nigerian Air Force air components of the Joint Task Force of Operation Fansanyama has achieved a major operational breakthrough following precision and interdiction missions conducted on 14th November at the Sauri Bandit Camp in Safe local government area of Zamfara State. Statements by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ehimen Ejodame, indicates that the mission was undertaken after comprehensive intelligence and surveillance operations confirmed significant terrorist activity and rustled livestock concealed on high ground hideouts used by the criminals as both a defense position and a logistics hub. Acting on this intelligence, the air components executed multiple coordinated strikes past unidentified targets, achieving direct hits that dislodged surviving terrorists attempting to flee into surrounding vegetation, where they were subsequently tracked and effectively engaged. The operation underscores the unwavering resolve of the Joint Task Force and the Nigerian Air Force under Operation Fansanyama to deny terrorists safe havens, strengthening security in Zamfara State, and support wider national efforts to restore lasting peace and stability across the northeast. This is news on NT International. We'll take a short break. More reports in a moment. Stay with us.
You have no better friend and partner than Nigeria. Let this unveiling today be a call to conscience. Let our practitioners hold the line of truth. To the media, please inform with integrity and with a deep sense of patriotism. To our public officers, communicate with transparency. To citizens, please let us speak with empathy. Let us come together to become the voice of responsibility, the voice of the world that heals division, that inspires hope and drives development.
Welcome back. The People's Democratic Party National Convention is underway in Ibadan as leaders of the party have received the flags of the party and the National Convention flag, among others. National Chairman of the party, Umar Damagum, received the flag of the PDP, while the Chairman of the National Convention and Governor of Adamawa State, Umaru Fintiri, received the National Convention flag. Governor of Bauchi State and Chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Bala Mohammed, received the Nigerian flag, while the host governor, Seyi Makinde, received the flag of the state. Other leaders that received flags at the events were the Senate Minority Leader, Senator Abba Moro, and Fred Agbedi for the House of Representatives. The convention began with the accreditation of over 3,000 delegates across the 36 states, including the FCT, which is in preparation for the voting exercise. And it was a gathering of APC party stalwarts across Nigeria who converged on the polo field to welcome new members. APC National Chairman Professor Nintawe Yowada and President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, received the defectors from different political parties. Among the defectors are Latep Dabang, the Director General of the campaign for the PDP during the 2023 elections, Dr. Patrick Dakum, governorship candidate for the Labour Party, and Alfred Dabwam, former governorship candidate of the NNPP. They were represented with the party flags and symbol of the broom by the APC National Chairman, who assured them that they have put machinery on ground to position the party for overwhelming victory in 2027. The Arawa Consultative Forum has extended invitations to Afenifere and Ohaneze Indigbo to attend its 25th anniversary celebration aimed at opening dialogue and strengthening national unity. Chairman of the ACF Board of Trustees, Bashir Dalhatu, made this known when he led members of the forum on a visit to the Kaduna State Governor to discuss plans for introducing new strategies to advance developments in the region. Mohammed Umar Jingi reports.
The senior members of the Arewa Consultative Forum are here to inform the governor of their grand plan to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the ACF. The delegation explains that the anniversary is more than just a celebration. It is a call to action and an effort to bring together the sons and daughters of northern Nigeria to chart a new path for the region.
After consultation, established the dates of 20, 21, and 22 of this month to host its 25th anniversary celebrations in Kaduna.
For the first time, the ACF plans to invite Afenifere, Ohaneze Indigbo, and other key socio-cultural groups for the joint celebration. The goal, they said, is simple yet historic: to create a platform where all regions can discuss their shared future.
We want to begin to start dialoguing with our own brothers and sisters in the South so that we can also gain assistance and new ideas and vice versa. And we are glad to say that they have accepted to come.
And I want to urge you to bring everyone together. It's not about only knowing their experience. It's about how we can be able to put our head together to address some of the problems of northern Nigeria. Is it the issue of poverty, the issue of unemployment, the issue of education, healthcare? These are other areas that are critical. If we sit down in the same room, I have no doubt in my mind, we have what it takes to move northern Nigeria forward.
It is a conversation the forum believes the entire nation must be part of it to bring progress and development in northern Nigeria. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Marajigi, NTA News.
And civil society groups must be able to carry out activism that will not be detrimental to patriotism, security architecture, and national development. Commissioner of Police Olondare Jimoh stated this during a parley with civil rights advocates at the State Police Command in Lagos. Musa Toliat has details.
It's been 5 years since the violent EndSARS protest brought untold destruction of lives and property on Lagos, and security architecture was also not spared. The visit to the police command by Dr. Segun Awosanya, who is one of the early advocates of campaign against police brutality, nicknamed EndSARS, underscores the need to build mutual understanding between the police and the civil society groups.
A lot of people are into activism for what they are going to get from the grants that they're going to get. You know, they don't understand the position of patriotism in that particular conundrum. We know the costs, of civil disobedience in Lagos State, for example, and we have not yet recovered from the things that have been destroyed right from that period, and will not open our eyes and let police be helpless once again.
We have some of the best officers and one of the best police force in the world. I understand, and we as citizens understand your constraint, but regardless of the constraints that you face on the battle line, you have been able to perform above par. And so I want to commend you all, and I want to ask you to keep doing the great job that you are doing.
Commissioner of Police Olondare Jimoh says the police will continue to work with civil society groups to ensure that no procession in the guise of peaceful protest is allowed to bring needless disruption to public peace.
Where you have left it, we have not shifted back there. Because like I said, we met in the trenches, and it was very tough because we end up having what we had as reform SARS, which was the engine that ended that issue that will have dovetailed into crisis. The Lagos State Police Command will continue to uphold the law within the ambit of the law. We are to respect the law, which we are doing at all times. It is when an environment is secure, that is when the law can equally be properly enforced.
CP Jimoh also reassured residents that the State Police Command is better positioned to keep them safe as they go about their daily lawful engagements. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
The Oni of Ife Oba Enitan Adeyeye Ogunwusi and the Council of Yoruba Traditional Rulers have thrown their weight behind the proposed reserved seats bill for women, assuring Nigerian women of their resolve to spread the crusade to political actors in their domains. The assurance was given during the meeting of the Oni of Ife and the Southwest legislators on the special seats bill, advocacy championed by the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, NILS. Joshua Ogunjide has details.
The gathering marks a strategic intervention that brought together traditional authority, legislative actors, and policy advocates to consolidate momentum for the passage of the special seats bill. It further provides a valuable platform to bridge policy advocacy with traditional leadership.
We will still deliberate, we traditional rulers. We want to talk to our subjects. Our subjects are all in the National Assembly, and we are starting with Southwest.
For NILS, the forum is particularly significant as it aligns with the Institute's mandate to support the National Assembly and State Houses of Assembly in strengthening legislative processes through research, policy analysis, and evidence-based advocacy.
The presence of you here in our midst, and as well as the presence of our other Royal Majesties from Southwest, offers a powerful demonstrations of how traditional leadership can complement modern governance structures in driving transformative policy change.
The existing constitutional and electoral frameworks have not yielded equitable gender outcomes, with women currently occupying less than 5% of legislative seats nationally.
Out of 469, that is a 360 in the House of Representatives, you have only 16 women. Then you have, of course, the Senate, only 4 women out of 109. There are so many committees. In 14 houses of assembly in this country, including some of your states, there is not a single woman.
His royal voice, I know that the leaders, people in power, they are listening.
In Abuja, Joshua Ogujide, NT News.
President Bola Tinubu has congratulated his political ally and friend Umaru Tanko Almarakura on his 73rd birthday. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, President Tinubu lauds Almarakura for his public-spirited ventures as a politician and much earlier as a businessman and philanthropist. The President recalls Almarakura's sweeping victory as an opposition candidate for the Nasarawa governorship in 2011 and his leading role in the events that led to the merger that gave birth to the APC in 2013. Almarakura, a two-term governor of Nasarawa State and a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, is the chairman of the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC. He also represented Nasarawa South Senatorial District from 2019 to 2023. Up next is Sunday's weather prospect for Nigerian cities and other parts of the world.